Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. Can you believe it's 2026? I'm so glad you're with us. My name is Jada Suzanne Dixon, and I have the pleasure of serving as the producing artistic director at Curious Theater Company.
Hi, my name is Nick Chase, and I am a co-artistic director at Local Theater Company.
Curious Theater and Local Theater, for the first time ever, are doing a co-production. Whoop whoop! And we're super excited. And it is co-production of Bad Books by Sharon Rothstein. So we're gonna chat a little bit today about why co-pro?
Why co-pro? That's a great question. I think when I think about Local Theater Company and Curious Theater Company, there is such an overlap in the work that we're really excited to explore at our companies. I think that we both lean into complicated characters with very interesting journeys, complex situations that they find themselves in. And in addition to the work that I believe that both Curious and Local gravitate towards, I think there's also an overlap of value systems between our two companies. I think that there is a strong belief in the power of the artist and the individual as a participant in the collaborative experience.
Absolutely. And core to the DNA of both Local and Curious are new plays. We are excited about new plays. I think we want to contribute to the longevity of a new play and supporting a process for a playwright and a new play. Not only that we expose our region to those new plays and those new voices and new stories, but also that we hope that they have a life beyond Curious and Local. And that's core to who both of our entities are.
Yeah. Let's talk about this play specifically and what compelled us to do this, because it did feel a little bit like a compulsion after reading this play, the necessity to have this conversation right now.
I love actually that you just used that word. I think necessity is key to this play because of its relevancy. I actually was listening to something today on the radio that referenced core elements of this play. And so I think the timeliness, I think the relevancy, I think the comedy, it's funny, friends, so don't miss it, that's for sure. But also, I think it speaks to what you said at the very beginning, that it's another play that is looking at the nuance and complexity of our humanity and how we navigate that collectively and how we're navigating that individually, and the sort of pros of that and also the cons of that.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I've noticed has been consistent with this season at Curious, is that you're looking at characters who are in very complicated situations that are situations that people are speaking about right now. And it's something that Local Theater Company is always interested in finding the story that's being discussed right now within our communities, within ourselves. And so I think the idea of this play about, granted, yes, it's about a book, it's about censorship in some regard, but I think it's really goes beyond what those sort of cut and dry elements, or how they might seem cut and dry. The complexity is added because of the humanity of these two people who have divergent viewpoints on a very similar subject. And I think therein lies like the beauty of this specific story, is that they both have a very unique perspective on who should be able to read a book, and what age that book should be given to them.
Absolutely. So. And I think outside of sort of timeliness and relevancy, I think both Curious and Local are, really wanting to be sort of at the forefront of that conversation. And I think both Curious and Local believe wholeheartedly that if in the world of theater, we can't create space to have the hard conversations, where else are we going to have that? Where else can we have that? And I think live theater gives us the opportunity to have those discussions, to have those conversations. And I think in some ways, and I think you spoke to this as the director, this play asks these two characters to listen. When we meet them, they're not necessarily listening to each other, and you'll know what I mean. But I do think their journey leads them to not necessarily agree,
right,
but to listen and understand.
Right.
Isn't that what we're wanting from the world that we're existing in today?
I think that's a really well said. I think that's really well said. I think this play doesn't ask for us to have the same viewpoint. I think what this play really asks us to do is have those difficult conversations, try to find some common ground, and recognize that we do live in the same world. And in order for us to live with any semblance of harmony, we need to have that communication. We can't live in this divided world that very often is what we see in online culture, on social media culture. It tends to, we've talked about this, flatten out humanity, and we no longer see the person behind a 180 word tweet, or a very simple Instagram story, or a Facebook post, or TikTok, whatever it might be. We don't see the full dimensional human being behind that. And I think what this play really does is moves us from that world of the digital, even though we don't live in that world in this play, but moves us from that mindset into we're living in the world right here with a human being directly across from me. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I also, in my title, have the word producing artistic director. So I will keep it real with everyone. Producing live theater in the times we find ourselves in continues to be challenging. I know I can speak for both entities, not
Certainly.
looking at their annual budget, but it takes a lot for each entity to produce programming that we feel passionate about, that we want to bring to you, new voices, new stories, complexities, things that scare us, things that ask us to be courageous and brave. We cannot do that without your support. So for everyone who has supported local theater company or curious theater company, and or both, with a gift of any size, it matters. It makes a difference. It allows us to have a little bit more breathing space to continue exploring the things that challenge us and ask all of us to be brave. So thank you for your past support. Thank you for your continued support. And thank you for coming to see this show. We can't wait to share it with you.
We look forward to welcoming you at the theater.